So tonight's conversation is one that I think a lot of founders, executives, and high-performing leaders need right now because there's a version of leadership that looks impressive on the outside, while internally someone is questioning themselves constantly. They're carrying pressure, navigating fears, and having to make decisions without certainty. And they're trying to build something meaningful while also becoming someone capable of sustaining it. What drew me to this conversation wasn't just the science, although I am a geek about science. And as a coach who has engaged many a client in talking about concerns, topics that hold emotional weight, vulnerability, leadership pressure, and what happens internally as responsibility grows, especially as these business owners grow their businesses and leaders grow in their career. Leadership changes you. I've seen it as people do build their businesses and grow in their careers over time. And becoming the CEO your business actually needs often costs more emotionally than people expect. So tonight we're going to be talking about emotional resilience under pressure, leadership and vulnerability, the psychology of risk, building trust while carrying fear, and what happens when leaders stop managing perception and start leading more honestly. So, question for those that are watching, whether live or in the future: where in your leadership or life have you been trying to appear strong instead of being honest about what something is actually costing you? My guest tonight is Mohammed Abouelsoud. I wanted to make sure I said that correctly. I'll be calling him Mo, and I got permission to do that. He's a neuroscientist, founder, and CEO of the Mind Company, where he and his team are developing precision, non-invasive neuromodulation technology for Parkinson's disease and other neurological disorders. Hi, Mo. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. And you said it correctly. So good
Oh,
job.
good. And that's a mouthful in terms of your credentials, but amazing. I'm very excited about this. So, what I also want to share about you is that, you know, you're a neuroscientist and a founder of a company. You're also a longevity practitioner working at the intersection of brain research, precision medicine, and human performance. And wow, what a combination! So this is going to go beyond clinical innovation and exploring emotional realities of leadership itself. So I'm very excited about this conversation. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to add before I start getting into my prepared questions about yourself or about what you do?
Well, uh, I started off this business as a neuroscientist. I studied neuroscience and physics at the Ohio State University as an undergraduate. And there's a big, big difference between being a scientist and a businessman. It's two different things, two different people,
Yes.
businessman, businesswoman. And a lot of times we think, oh, science means smart, and smart means I can do anything. And that's not always the case because in business, it has a lot to do with emotions and
Hmm.
vulnerability and connection and caring. And that really doesn't fit in the equation that a lot of these scientists, like I used to do, try to model out sales, right? You can't really. It's an equation. So no, I appreciate joining this call today. I also will say, yeah, I'm a neuroscientist into longevity, but also a CEO, leader, and human being too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, you said two words that start with the C: caring and connection. And those two things weren't really talked about very often before, I would say, the last few years. So these last few years have really, I think, forced us in the work world to approach things in a very different way. And I actually want to start this first topic, which is exactly what we're talking about: the emotional weight of leadership and responsibility. I saw a post that you shared. It was your last one. And I really appreciate what you said. You said, my team is growing, and now I'm responsible for them, for their livelihood, for building something financially stable enough to support them. Because that level of responsibility changes people. So, one of my first questions for you is, what changed internally for you once people started to depend on you in that way?
That's a very, very good question. I'm not waking up and going to work for me anymore. I'm waking up and going to work, needing to complete things done for others, for our team. And I have to remember, sometimes I'm in this position where, I get to sit and eat food and I can relax. And that relaxation is a privilege. It's a privilege because I know that I must soak every moment of this to be able to provide it back to our team, be able to provide the financial abundance for them. I don't think they understand, or anybody really understands, the amount of pressure you go through trying to provide for them on what they actually deserve. Because you look at your team and you say to yourself, you deserve way more than what I'm actually providing right now. Like for the startup,
Yeah.
I know this. I know this. You deserve more. I know you guys should be paid more. I completely understand. I wish I can just pull it out of my pocket, right? And just be like, here's the additional $70,000, $100,000 a year salary. And it just doesn't work like that. But one thing that I've noticed with our team is the ability to believe. They really believe. They really are focused on the mission. They do not see ourselves as the company as a misguided, misoriented, or failing organization. They see a trajectory that is moving upward very, very quickly. And they're very focused and they're very, very persistent. And it's up to me to hold their hands and lead them through the darkness and say, follow me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. So that fear that they're exhibiting about what's next, I must take it on in me and hold it and convert it into courage.
I love that. Well, and it sounds to me from what you're describing, which isn't always the case, by the way, is that your mission is clear to them, to be able to get behind you on that and to support that trajectory to happen at the speed that it is, to make sure that it's super clear. And depending on how far this goes for you, and I'm gonna wish you lots of success and growth, at some point I've noticed in working with people who've had companies around for 10 years or more that sometimes they start to lose that vision and mission, and the people that are working for them at that time struggle with what it is because it's kind of gotten either off track or it's lost its clarity. So it's great that you've got that clarity right now.
Oh yeah, no, we've been building this for 8 years.
Okay. Yeah.
8 years straight. So we are very focused. We want every human being on the planet to use closed loop brain stimulation device. Now, it's kind of like a interesting goal. What's up with this goal? This technology. This is actually one of our older prototypes. If you go on our website and you go on my page, you'll see the newer one. We just have it shipped out from Dubai. But These devices send an electrical signal into a region of the brain called the prefrontal cortex.
Yep.
The part of the brain associated with decision making,
Yes.
motivation, and resilience. And so people ask me often, Mo, you're so focused. You're so focused and persistent and consistent. Why? There's one part of me that says, well, I believe it's true. There's a mission. We can do it. We can do it. I believe. And that's true. It is true.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another part of me that says, those circuits, those belief, those persistence, those motivation circuits, they're being fired all the time and they're
So
activated.
you wear your own product. How often do you wear it? Do you wear it every day?
Yeah. 50 minutes. Yeah, I wear it every single day. I've been wearing it for 7 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is the reason, the resilience that I have in my brain. I think I'm a resilient person. I think I am. The resilience comes from the ability to just stay focused. Stay focused, focus, to measure those compound effects. And this is why our team, we have a very significant team, a large team of over 20 leaders that work full-time hours with very low costs. And these are international wages, but they are not, it's not most dream salaries, and they are focused. They are focused. And by the way, I'm not getting any luxury salary either. I'm not. So this is.
So does that mean, are you, when you call them leaders, are they people leaders, or are you acknowledging them for the fact that they have leadership capacities?
Wow, that's a good question. They are individuals that they are leading a revolution in the field of neurotechnology and medicine.
Gotcha. Okay.
They are standing at the forefront of a cutting edge technology and charging forward with it, confidence. They have a lot of emotional intelligence. So our team is very emotionally intelligent team, which is something I very, very much enjoy. They are a very focused team. This is actually the one astonishing things about our team. We have a lot of young individuals in our team. I'm 28. We have individuals in their mid-20s, early 20s. We have older individuals, but the amount of focus, they are wired. Their eyes, you can see it in their eyes. They're just wired. They are very strong leaders. And I say leaders not only because they are leaders, I see them as leaders. And I want them to, when I approach them, I'm not approaching them as a staff member. I'm approaching them as an equal, okay? That we are building this together and that we need to stay focused together. And so I make sure that I tell them often, that, we are leading and we are focused. And I never really I call them our leaders. This is something very important to me. That's a very important lexicon of verbiage.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, when we have a belief about someone, or we speak to them in a certain way because of our perception of them, they will usually show up based on that perception. So you calling them leaders and perceiving them as leaders in their own right, not necessarily because they have a team of people that are directly reporting to them. It's tapping into those, I see the leadership capacities that you have, and we are leading this charge together. And I can imagine the impact that has.
Yes, I'm very proud of them, and I'm proud that they trust me and that they follow me and they allow me to continue guiding the ship so we can move forward together.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, okay. So great. So you wear your technology every day, and I'm hearing you're very focused, and it sounds like they're probably doing that too. All that to say, you're human, right? And you have an emotional life yourself. So how do you personally navigate the tension between, say, experiencing fear internally yourself while still needing to project steadiness externally for the team?
This is great. So I always feel that whatever is happening on the inside with me, in my mind, other people could sense.
Of course, yes.
I don't know if do you have a pet? Do you have a dog? Or any? Do you have a pet? So the
I
pet,
have 2 dogs. Yeah.
they can sense. They can. Oh, she's stressed
Oh,
out.
yes.
They can sense. You walked into the room the same way, but they can smell the hormone differences. They can smell the cortisol and all that. It's the same exact concept with humans. We analyze those micro expressions, right? We can sense those changes, the mirror neuron system. So I'm always honest. I'm always honest. And I'm always sharing my vulnerabilities. I'm always sharing what I can and cannot do and what we need to do to get to where we need to go.
Yeah.
So my team, they have a lot of trust in me. They really do. I don't want to say I am privileged. I'm so grateful, but they put so much trust, and they've seen it. So they've seen the company build up over time. So they've seen those things that I've been saying happening again, and they build up slowly and slowly and slowly. I notice that if my internal state is not resolved, it won't be resolved externally. In fact, there's a famous physics paper about how brain states map onto external worlds and vice versa. The whole idea is that I need to make sure that I'm grounding myself with the concept. Okay, even if the grounding is, I don't know how to solve this problem, I need help.
Yes. That's authentic. That is absolute authentic leadership. And I just want to quickly respond to a comment in the chat about, like somebody has cats and their cats respond to them too. It's so true. And so not a tangent, we need to go too deep on, but I'm in the process of getting certified in equine coaching with horses. And it's exactly what you're talking about. And there's such a great mirror in terms of they're a prey animal. And if you are around them and you're not coherent within yourself, as we call it, they sense that and they'll want nothing to do with you, because really what it is, they don't have a prefrontal cortex like we do. I'm learning about their brain science too. Mm-hmm. For them, it's like, do I feel safe with you? But the irony is it's the same with humans. Your team is always observing you and watching you and feeling you and watching that nonverbal body language and hearing the tone in your voice and sensing your energy. And if they don't feel that you're confident with the future of the company, the direction of the company, the how things are going with sales or operations or whatever it is that you're focused on that day, they're going to feel it, sense it, and notice it.
Yes, absolutely. There's never a moment where I say to myself, if I'm going to hide this, or how can I change this, or how can I try to. I'm so honest with my emotions, and even if those emotions are negative, that is the reason that at least I think my leadership showed up to where it is today, by being honest, by being caring, by being vulnerable.
And well, that's the perfect segue into our next topic. But before we go there, I've got another question for the audience. What part of leadership are you holding responsibility for right now behind the scenes because you think you're supposed to handle it alone? So something to think about for the audience. But you just perfectly led us into the next topic about trust, vulnerability, and just human behavior under pressure. So something else I found fascinating in your post was this idea that people are constantly assessing emotional safety with each other. So with you, and with each other, right? So this might also be, just to acknowledge it, this might also be due to everything happening in the world and everyone not feeling safe in general, because there's just so much uncertainty right now. That said, when it comes to relationships, you said past hurt becomes future hesitation. That's brilliant, Mo. So, I think this really shows up in leadership and hiring and partnerships and communication and team dynamics. I see it all the time. So how has your understanding of human behavior changed as both a neuroscientist and a CEO?
Oh yeah, this is very, very interesting. So I'll share a little story. It's a funny story. I Over these past 8 years, there was a time where the company wasn't funded, and so I had to. And then still, I love to work evening jobs, part-time jobs here, but there was a time where I had to work an additional 40 hours a week to pay for things in the evening. So I used to work as a janitor at Walmart, and it was a Walmart down the street. It was very great. It was a great job, honestly, because I could listen to my audiobooks. Nobody bothered me. So I loved being a janitor. And I remember one time they called me back. They said, "Can you help out unload the trucks?" I was like, "Sure." And I guess there was some scuffle or something, or like something happened, and there were some questions that asked like back, not with me, but they were like, "Mo, are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, we are okay." And they were like, "We? Is that your pronouns?" I said, wait, what? You said we. I said, "Oh yeah, we as in yeah, we're good as in," because I was thinking at that point in my life, this was around 6 years ago, I started to evolve away from the sense of I and more to the sense of we, because my state of being has to do with our team, right? We are focused, right? We are moving forward. There's this joint identity that we are building upon here. And that is very, very important to me. As we start to grow and we start to develop ourselves, we need to understand how we relate to one another. There is things that happen in the past that could hurt you, that have hurt you, and that can leave scars, right?
Yeah.
It's important to look at those events, acknowledge them, number one, analyze them critically, ask what happened, what happened that caused this from an objective third-party point of view, and then what can I do to prevent it in the future? What boundaries could I place?
Yes. See, and I call them, well, sometimes I still call them boundaries because sometimes that's still appropriate. But a term that I use that I created years ago, because I've been coaching a long time, is healthy parameters. And the reason that I created that is because boundaries, to me, the way that I see it utilized more often than not, is that it creates a wall. Like it's a wall. Like I have a boundary and I'm going to protect myself, versus I'm creating a healthy parameter here by which you and I get to talk about what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what doesn't work for you, and what works for you. And that way we can actually optimize and make our relationship even better. And because it's a parameter, it can be moved. Whereas a boundary that's like a wall can't be moved. Once it's been drawn or once it's been built, a lot of the time, what goes into that for a lot of people, because of the protectiveness of it, is that there's no movement to it. Whereas a parameter can be moved over time as things evolve and change and relationships evolve and change. But it's a way to stay in relationship, in communication, and to go with the flow in terms of how things evolve and change. What are your thoughts about that?
I love that. I love that. I'm actually probably going to start using that.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, you're right. Parameter means this is a thing that I'm dealing with, and it's just we just have to move around it. But this is just part of my reality. and it's okay. It'll be weird. This is what I always say to people: is it's like it'd be weird if this person like didn't have boundaries. That would be weird, you know. Or if this, it would be strange if this person had no insecurities. You ever met someone that they try to show up so perfect, and you're like, that is strange. That is no. I want. Where are the scars? This is not. And it's okay to show that. You know, a lot of times I see executives on LinkedIn, and I'm a big LinkedIn guy, by the way. As you can tell, I do all my posts. Executives on LinkedIn, and there is sometimes very polished, so polished, and you say to yourself, "Well, where's the human?" Okay, we know you have two dogs at home.
Right.
And
Yes.
you pooped. You went to the bathroom and pooped. Yes, you did.
I pick up their poop all the time.
Yeah,
yes.
don't tell me you didn't poop. You know.
That's hilarious.
And so it's the understanding that, listen, we're all trying our best.
Yes.
We're all trying to move forward. Let's look at each other as human beings, and let's move forward, and let's respect each other's parameters. You know, people have a
Yes.
path. People come with certain experiences. It's okay. This is normal, and let's live through it. We're trying to enjoy each moment. We're all
Well,
trying to live together.
yes. And you know, I'm curious what what you would say about this too. But I think because back in the day, we had, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you are, and so back in the day, we needed to show up in a polished way because that's what was expected of us in the workplace. And that's very much changed over the years. And now I think with the increase of AI constantly, being in our face and online, and it's just everywhere. It's hard to avoid it these days at all. With that, I think everybody's craving more of that flawed, imperfect humanness that we are. And none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, right? So it's the more that we can, and that kind of relates back to the topic at hand in terms of vulnerability and creating trust. Being able to admit, gosh, I made a mistake on that, or I didn't do that as good as I could, or hey, I need your help with this, or I'm not very good at this. Is there somebody else that can help me? Those kinds of traits in a work environment are priceless and so valuable these days. And as a leader, to create an environment where you not only encourage that, but to also enter the space with, you don't have to have all the answers. A lot of the time, and I would imagine that you would say the same thing about the team that works with you and not for you. Notice how I said works with you. But you don't have to have all the answers either. That although yes, they follow you, that you can ask them to contribute to, say, brainstorming or coming up with ideas or contributing to innovation or problem solving.
Yeah, and one of the things also that I try to provide for my team is there's times where I don't have the answers to something in the moment. I don't. And I tell them I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I tell them also, this is how we can know. Okay, these are like the specific things we need to find from our data, or these next 6 months. This is what we need to discover to get to this answer. But right now, I do not know. This is the person we need to hire. This is the engineering team. And so my job right now is less to be the answer guy and more of to be the team bonding guy. Like, okay, guys, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, you talk to you talk to her, you talk to him. And so building that trust.
Yes.
When you're a coach for a soccer team, you're not the one scoring goals. Okay, you let the team score the goals, but you just guide them. If they need help, they just need to reposition. You just guide them, and they go back to where they play.
100%. Yeah. And really quick, I just want to acknowledge Jennifer. Thanks for being here. And yes, parameters are more negotiable. And that, allowing both parties, or, maybe it's more than two people, to contribute to that dialogue and actually have a dialogue about it. That's where people tend to put down their guard down. And, on the topic of trust and vulnerability, they tend to feel safer in being able to have those conversations. So last question, Mo, before we move on to, well, actually, I have a few more questions for you, but one
Okay.
I want to ask more just in general is like a moment where being more vulnerable as a leader actually strengthened trust instead of weakening it for you and your team.
Okay, I'm going to share this. Ready?
I am.
So, November of last year, I had to cut payroll in half for every,
Mm,
okay, because
yep.
we were running out of runway, and it was my job to keep the company alive. And I said to
Yes.
myself, I'd rather have a little bit of money coming in each month for them than a lot for 2, 3 months. So
Mm,
I made that decision. I said, this is what's going to have to happen. And I took the biggest cut. I took the biggest cut and I showed them this. And the reason why I showed them this is because I told them, listen, I understand what's happening right now. And I know that I want you to see that this company is our company,
mm,
my company. And I'm equally as motivated to get those finances, to get those investments, to be able to scale up our organization. And that increased trust significantly. I've never seen the team work that hard in my life, and they were so. It was just as if nothing had happened, and just boom, 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 kept executing, and we got that next round of investment, and we kept the payroll going, and we
amazing.
getting new rounds of investment right now, and everybody's just consistently focused for years, and this is just the. I don't. I'm happy. I think it has half to do with the half with the company, half with the culture. But there are team members that have been on this for 3 years now. 3 years of zero pay to low pay.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thanks for, first of all, sharing that with us. And that demonstrates a lot about who you are in your own practice of vulnerability. And I'm not surprised that these people have stuck with you. And that's absolutely amazing. Congratulations on where you are with funding and growth for your own company. Uh, I'm super excited to watch your path and see what happens for you going forward because you're such an incredible example. And it sounds like you've learned some of these harder lessons earlier in life and in your business practice, because not everybody does. And so that's going to be a huge advantage to you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've built this entire company for less than $200,000. We've run we run 4 clinical trials.
Mm,
We have over 300 subjects using the technology. We've built many different minimal viable products. We have many different artificial intelligence medical diagnostic softwares developed, many different peer-reviewed publications. We have advisors from Harvard, Cleveland Clinic, MIT, Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic. We are a very, very focused company. We have from some very advanced technology. We have 3 patents. We have done more than $10 million plus funded companies.
yeah.
And so we take that with confidence. And this is what I share to the team. I say, we are underdogs here.
Mm, yeah.
Stay focused. Trust, 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 trust. They have been trusting, and they have been seeing results. And
Hmm.
they see those results. They keep on trusting more, and they go again, 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 again. And I tell them, it will never stop. It will never end. We will continue to stay focused and continue to find our purpose till the day we die. I'm serious.
Yeah. I
Go.
believe you. Yes. Well, and so now this makes me curious, Mo, who supports you as the CEO when, when everybody else is looking to you for certainty?
um, there's different people in my life. I have my friends. My friends support me. My girlfriend supports me. My mom. I have different people in my life involved.
Yeah.
But most, I'm not that in terms of, there's a lot of internal things that I built up. I've learned how to support myself because I've been alone for a long, long time. Because even my mom doesn't, it's not her fault. She just doesn't really understand what I do because it's
Uh-huh.
not in her upbringing. Her upbringing, people don't really usually start their own companies and want to, develop their own neurotech business. To her, it's more of like, uh, go to medical school, right, and be a doctor.
Right. Yes, become a
My
lawyer
mom's
or go to medical
yeah,
school. Yeah,
yeah, my
yeah.
mom's a physician, so my mom's a
Yeah,
physician. So,
see, there it
but
is. Yeah, yeah.
uh, I I am getting two dogs. I'm getting two. Actually, can I show you guys? Let me show you guys.
I love it.
You guys want to see my new support system? This is going to be my new support system.
Oh, so cute. Do you already have names for them?
Well, they are named Gigi and Gandalf.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
they're
Lisa.
brothers and sisters.
Oh,
Brother and
cute.
sister.
I love it.
So
Oh, yeah.
I was always gonna get, I was always inevitably gonna get two dogs so they can like entertain themselves as I do my
Mhm.
work. So I found them and they're like, we only want to foster these dogs in a pair. And I was like, perfect. I was like,
Oh, that's
let's
great. Yeah. I
do
love
that.
it.
That's my
Oh, well,
support.
we could talk dogs on a totally all day long. So, okay. God, I could talk to you more. So, how about this? One more question, and then I'm going to ask the audience another question.
Okay.
What I sometimes observe in founders is that sometimes they wait too long before getting outside perspective or support. So, what are your thoughts about that?
You got to go. You're gonna fail. You're gonna get embarrassed. You.
Did
This,
I?
this is what I tell people. People do not want to do anything because they're embarrassed. Oh my god!
It's the
I only got
shame. Oh
3
my God,
likes.
shame
I only got
can
4
run
likes.
deep for people.
Ew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's okay. Again,
Yes.
again, 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 and then you're gonna get 30 likes, and then people are gonna look at you. Embarrass yourself. It's okay. It's normal. You're doing more than other people. Go, 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 go. Don't wait. You got to execute now.
Yes. Yeah. And I love it because no shame. Somebody wrote no shame. It's like it's reframing the shame. It's like reframing the shame, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, audience, here's another question for you. Think about your own relationships, professionally or personally. Where are you waiting for someone else to move first emotionally before you allow yourself to be more honest? Something to think about. Okay, so let's go into the last topic, becoming the CEO that your business actually needs. So, in coaching for the amount of time that I have and coaching founders and business owners and leaders, I think one of the hardest realizations for them is that the version of you who started the company may not be the version capable of leading it into the next stage because growth demands evolution. So, Mo, what beliefs or habits have you had to let go of to become a more resilient leader yourself?
Yes. Great. Yeah. So there's a difference between being a founder and a CEO. Those are two different things.
I love that distinction. Yeah, say more.
Yeah. A founder is one that doesn't have boundaries, is a little bit chaotic, uh, can be burnt out, and is maybe driven on a project basis, as if it's a hobby or project. The CEO says, how can this turn into a job? How can this has to have boundaries with my personal life. How can this provide for me, and how can this provide for my team? Okay. The CEO looks at their company and says, I'm not going to schedule calls on the weekend. I don't schedule calls on the weekend.
Great,
unless it's some sort of a medical emergency or something like that. But for the most part, generally, no, not on my calendar. Okay. Past 5 p.m., I don't have calls unless it's a podcast or something.
Yeah.
But on my calendar, I don't have calls. I have specific boundaries set up between company life and personal life. And that boundary development actually allowed me to grow the company even more because now the company has
Yes.
to work for us.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a famous book called a concept called 10x is easier than 2x.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the idea of that. Let's say you want to make $2,000 a month. If you shoot for $10,000 a month, miss and only get 7,000, well, that's easier than the two. And the reason being is because 10x allows you to scale your thinking very, very big. And you force yourself to think at a big level. And so CEO has to think on a big system level, system organization level. How can I provide my team? How can I provide insurance for my team? And be able to get the capital they need so they can go get the salaries and support themselves and support their families. A founder is a little bit more selfish and a little bit more, I don't say immature, but developing.
Yeah. Well, it's God, everything you're saying is right on because a lot of the time founders aren't the right person to carry the company forward. And at some point they have to humble themselves and step aside to let a CEO who does have a different approach and mindset because they have a different skill or experience to be able to, scale it because they have to focus on those things that you're talking about versus what enabled it to grow and get to that place to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me personally, one of the things that as the founder and CEO of the company, I have a very personal attachment to the company.
Always. Yes. Yeah.
And so it was very clear that for me to grow this company, I needed to get somebody else or I need to make it this and I need to evolve. I have to evolve. I have to look at this objectively. I have to be able to scale this up and do what I have to do to get it to the next level. And I've met with many different business advisors, and as you can see from our team, we have a very credible, extensive team internationally. We are very privileged to be able to work with the people that we work with. And a lot of it has to do with them looking at us and seeing us as a credible organization.
Yeah.
Being able to make an impact in the healthcare setting professionally.
Yeah. So, gosh, I wish I had more time with you. Last question on this topic. What has leadership taught you about yourself that surprised you the most?
I've learned that I desire to deeply care about others. I want to care about others, and I want to feel what they're feeling. And it made me learn how empathetic I really am. Beautiful. Because I am very, very empathetic.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for that. Okay. So I've got one more prompt for the audience. What version of yourself are you still trying to hold on to, even though your next level probably requires someone different? Okay, so Mo, I have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. First one. What is one leadership trait people glorify too much?
Overworking, too many calls, meetings.
Yes, I love that one. Okay. What helps you reset mentally when pressure gets high?
Sleeping. Love to sleep.
Yeah,
Need,
totally.
lead
I know.
me
So we
to
won't keep
power.
you too much. Yeah, you're an early bird, so we won't keep you too much longer.
There you go.
What's one decision that changed you personally as a leader?
Using brain stimulation.
Okay, yeah. Do you think resilience is built or revealed?
Built, built again, again, again.
Okay. And last one word you want your team to feel when they think about you as a leader.
Trust, focus.
I love it. So Mo, how can people learn more about what you're up to?
You can find our website, the Mind Company, youthemind.company. You can go find me on LinkedIn as well. It'll be in the link in the comments. And just stay following us. You know, we are excited about the next steps, excited about our journey ahead. So keep on at it, team. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I'm excited about your journey ahead. Okay, so tonight's conversation very much has validated how leadership is not just operational, it's emotional, it's psychological, and it's deeply human. And I think one of the greatest challenges that leaders face is learning how to remain open-hearted while also carrying enormous responsibility. So Mo, thank you for your honesty tonight, your vulnerability, and not just about the science and innovation you're building, also sharing about your own internal realities of leadership itself. It's very much appreciated.
Absolutely. Alanna, I appreciate you so much.
Yes. Okay, audience. So if tonight's conversation resonated with you, please share this episode with your network or specifically with another founder, executive, or leader who may need it right now. And if you're navigating difficult decisions, leadership pressure, team dynamics, or a major transition in your business or life, feel free to reach out to me directly. These are the conversations that I work in every day with my clients. And speaking of hard conversations, I created the Conversation Prep Toolkit. It's a complimentary guide that can help you step into those moments with more intention, less worry, less hesitation, and communicate in a way that really lands. So please do sign up for my newsletter, and you can download that. Jesse's going to share the link in the chat. And because these are the conversations that most people aren't having, they're the most impactful ones for sure. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Alchemize with Alanna, and we'll see you next time.